Everyone. Welcome to our session. Learn today, implement tomorrow. That's our goal. My name is Aviva Baff. I am a program manager at the Clubhouse Network. I've been with the network for about 6 years. So if you've been with the network for longer than a couple of months, you might know my name or have seen me before. And I have been for the last few years managing and supporting our C2C Pathways program. And that's a cohort-based program focused on connecting youth to learning and a work experience via an internship. And this comes with some funding. And I was thinking about this session and thinking there's so much great stuff that we do, but I didn't want to come and create a session where you leave thinking, well, I don't have another staff member, I can't do that. So I asked the group, can you think of some really tangible things, a strategy, an idea, a best practice, something you're doing that you can share that is relevant for everyone. So you might hear the words like internship and think, I don't do internships, that's okay. This is a session that's supposed to be relevant for everyone. And you'll see some individuals present and you'll see some groups present. And that's just because we work together and we work individually as clubhouses. And I really would love for everyone to have time to introduce themselves, but we will run out of time. So what I would ask is, while we're kicking this off, if you can just write in the chat your name and your clubhouse and maybe where you're located so we can kind of know who's on the call with us, that would be great. You can just say, hi, I'm so-and-so, this is where I'm joining from. And before we kick it off, we had this great idea. I can't take credit, it's not me, to think of this a little bit as speed dating. So we are going to share our strategies and best practices in, if we do it well, 3 minutes or less. And then at the end, you will be able to self-select to have a quote unquote date, we'll call it a learning date, with the person or people who talked about the idea or the strategy or the best practice that you want to have a conversation about. So we'll have 2 breakouts where you're self-selecting. Hopefully all of you have the latest Zoom, so this will make it much easier. First, I am going to kick it over to, oh, and I want to also say, I forgot, I'm going to do some signals to them around time. So if you see some of those reactions popping up from me, you can ignore them. Those are little tricks for us to keep track of our time. So I'm going to pass it over to our first group and they'll pass it to each of our groups. And I want to say that in the session description, I said that you would get 5 strategies. And in fact, you get a bonus. You get 6 today. So you get a little extra without even doing anything. So I'm going to pass it over to our first group, which is a theme around teen conference. So I'm going to pass it over.
Hi, everyone. My name is Hallelujah from St. Paul, Minnesota's Teen Tech Center. Today, I'm presenting with Sara from San Antonio, Texas, and Tamara from Boston, Massachusetts. Together, we planned a virtual conference attended by our youth members titled Planting Roots Teen Conference. This idea sprouted from a disconnect and lack of engagement that COVID created. And we witnessed the virtual learning becoming dry and isolating, and the global reach and community we had with the Clubhouse Network, and saw the conference as a unique opportunity to connect creatively.
And so when Hallelujah, Tamara, and I first got together, we said, okay, what do we want our conference theme and our vision to be? And so we selected the Planting Roots theme, and you'll see our flyer here on the left. And we really needed to figure out, what is the message that we want our young people to walk away from, and this is how we selected the theme. Next was to select what kind of sessions would they want to experience, and what do they need to hear right now. And so after selecting our session topics, then identifying engaging and very passionate people to facilitate those sessions so that way the content can resonate with our young people. And so here's just a quick snapshot of our conference agenda. And we'll go more about this in the breakout room, but we pass this conference agenda to our young people and our facilitators so that they can have just like a real conference.
And now moving on to all of the day of things. So this is what our PowerPoint looked like. As you can see, plant your roots. We make sure to stick with that theme all throughout. The next slide. And before we got started, we made sure to take a quick pause because as we all know, all of the youth are pretty zoomed out. So a quick mindful moment to take a reflection that also related to the theme, and we can share more in our breakout room. And this is just some photos from some of the sessions. So we had a combination of soft skills as well as hard skills, just to have some nice variety. And each young person participated in 2 sessions out of the 4 we offered. And this is us looking all excited to be participating in the conference.
And just some main takeaways. So if you are interested in hosting a conference, just reach out to other clubhouses who would want to collaborate with you, decide on what message and what theme and vision do you have for your conference? What do you want your youth to walk away with? Setting up a 30-minute weekly or bi-weekly meeting within the weeks leading up to your conference date, and just delegating responsibilities to each staff member so you ensure that your conference goes smoothly. And then here is our contact information. We had so much fun facilitating the conference. So reach out to us. We look forward to contacting you in our breakout room. And up next, we have Josh with projects to create pathways.
Hi guys, my name is Josh Stewart. I'm coming to you from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to present projects to create pathways. One project we did here in Pittsburgh was a birthday present for our CEO, Dr. Terry Sweeker-Reed's birthday. She's a special lady to us. She's dedicated her life to giving youth a second chance, which is why she opened up Phase 4 Learning Center. So as a token of appreciation, we embarked on the table project, as you can see below. Starting from scratch, we built an end table from wood, and she's very much into horses and barns. So we engraved a barn scene on top of the table. Then the youth used the green screen room to video record a personalized birthday message for her. And lastly, they made a song of appreciation for her using the music studio. So in this one project, we incorporated the use of basic hand tools, cameras, music studio software, art, wood engraving, and plenty of sanding, staining, and clear coating for our end table. You gotta be my date to see the video. So some of the lessons we learned are to let youth work to their strengths so they can develop the self-confidence to try new things. Also, connecting your CBO to your project can have great benefits. I'm pretty sure we have free pizza parties for the foreseeable future. Never underestimate the power of peer-to-peer learning. Let your youth teach themselves. And projects with multiple parts teach accountability, teamwork, and problem solvings to individuals in the group. Looking forward, it's important to keep in mind that most people learn by doing. Consider your youth, their skills, interests, and hobbies when developing a project. You know, what may work for you one year may not work in another year. Set project goals and deadlines to keep the project moving. And engaging projects keep youth coming back to your Teen Tech Center, which is always important. So if you'd like to be my date, I enjoy long walks on the beach. I can cook. I'm currently employed. And my wife says I have a good sense of humor. My profile picture is excluded for a reason, which was funny until I realized this was on Zoom. You can see me. So will you be my date? Here's my contact information. Feel free to reach out to me anytime. And your next better looking date is Miss Alexis Lopez from the Gold Crown Foundation, talking about data management.
Hi, everyone. My name is Alexis Lopez, and I'm the C2C coordinator at Gold Crown Foundation in Denver, Colorado. Today, I'm going to be talking about measuring pathways to success, tools to improve data tracking capabilities. So really, before I get into the meat and potatoes of the presentation, I wanted to talk about why it is important for us to track and document participant data. So each and every kid that walks through our doors has a different backstory, a different history, and we have a different relationship with each and every one. Now, you can first kind of think it's important to track data to keep track of demographics, parent and contact information, and that sort of thing. But it can also be really important to track different types of qualitative or quantitative data based on the relationship you have around youth, so that if something were to happen or come up, or you have something that you wanted to talk to a kid about, it can be easily accessible for you and you can easily find that information in a very quick and easy way. So talk a little bit about the how we can actually do this. We've got Google Sheets, which is a really great comprehensive tool for anybody to use. It's a cloud-based service. I'm sure many of you are familiar with Google Drive, and it can be great, especially for large teams or even small teams of people that you want to collaborate with on different documents. We also have the workhorse Excel. It can be really great comprehensive tool for tracking data in a very simple way, but can also be used for very advanced analytical and statistical methods. And we also have a great source called OneTap that many of you might not have heard of before. It's actually an event tracking software, but you can use it to track attendance, daily attendance at your clubhouses by setting each day as a different event. So now I kind of want to show you a little bit of some of the work that I've done with different data resources and things. This is on Google Sheets, and here I used attendance tracking in my Google Sheets document. Now I could have used OneTap, but I really like the creativity that Google Sheets allows for, because not only can I track all of the names and the times, but I can also add in features like doing their assignments and tracking and stuff. And I can also track which days they plan to come for each week. And here's another example of a way I use Google Sheets to kind of organize partner relationships. And I even have some, what Aviva mentioned earlier, some intern matches for each of the partnership hosts that we have. And here's a snapshot of our beautiful OneTap system that we use every day in our clubhouses. So you can kind of see where it says checked in name and check-in date. And the what. Before we really get into the details in our sessions, it's really important to kind of bring everything together, the how and the why, because we want to accomplish the goal of meeting every kid where they're at and maintaining a wonderful relationship with each and every youth that walks through our door. And all of these tools can be a great resource for you in accomplishing that goal. So if you'd like to learn more, head over to breakout room 3. And up next is going to be Fatima discussing virtual events.
Hi, everybody. My name is Fatima Gutierrez. I am the Workforce Development Coordinator at Bresee Foundation, and specifically overseeing the C2C program. This is my second year at Bresee Foundation, so I'm still fairly new to the network. I will be going over 3 virtual events we hosted at Bresee, and really just talking about what worked for us in hopes of giving you guys a starting point or ideas for when you guys are planning your events. An overview about our program: the students that we serve in LA, they're already pretty diverse. Specifically in our Teen Tech Center, we serve a lot of students that are Asian and Hispanic. Another population that we serve are English learners who are students that have just recently arrived into the country or have been in the country for a couple of years. Like many of you guys, we had many events planned for spring semester, and then the pandemic forced us to restructure or even cancel events. Some of the challenges within our Teen Tech Center were Zoom fatigue. So we were limited on how long students would stay engaged. Specifically in our community, many of our parents relied on their older youth to either help with childcare or even become teachers to their younger siblings. So their priority level was a little lower when it came to entering these events. Many students did not have access to laptops or reliable internet. Like I mentioned, our English learners were new to this country, so navigating technology was a big challenge. When planning virtual events, we identified these 5 essential pieces that worked at Bresee. Constant communication, collaboration, and reflection were really essential when it came to the start, middle, and end of our events. And just quickly diving into our events, the first one was our career fair that we had just
Am I frozen or is Fatima frozen?
She's frozen.
She's
Okay.
frozen.
Okay.
She's frozen. Yeah.
Okay. I can never tell if it's me or her. So we're gonna, let's see, I think she dropped off. All right. You know, it's never a virtual event unless someone loses internet. So I'm gonna let Fatima hop back on and we can come back and finish this off in a second. But meanwhile, we'll jump ahead and we will go over to our networking and partnership development group.
Sounds good. So, hi, I'm Tate Grimshaw from the Teen Tech Center in South Salt Lake, and we're joined again by Sara from Family Services in San Antonio. So today we're going to be talking about relationships. I'm going to be talking about how I brought in my community network, and Sara will be talking about cultivating existing partnerships. So here's just a few things about us and the youth we serve. Yeah, so we'll get started. So when I started at this job, which was in August, a lot of the connections I was seeking were absolute necessities. My main concerns were internships and recruitment. So I learned though that by using the community connections I already had to expand my network, I had a lot of opportunities to incorporate resources and ideas for my program that I never would have even thought of otherwise. So I made this visual to kind of demonstrate how these connections happened. So this is me in September. These were my original community connections that I had. So over time, it turned into this beautiful spider web that you can see. I'll talk more about it in the breakout rooms, but I wanted to highlight two things. A pre-internship project with the mayor where some students interviewed about the housing crisis in South Salt Lake, and then a personalized mentor program through the Women in Business in South Salt Lake. Some takeaways from networking this year: maintain a lot of openness because they might have ideas you haven't thought of, like it was with me. Also, a lot of these cool plans will require your organization to do a lot of the groundwork on your end, again, at least in my experience. And also ask for help. C2C Pathways is really cool when it's explained to people and people want to help, so don't be afraid to. I'm going to pass it on to Sara now.
Hi everyone, Sara from San Antonio. So I'll be speaking about partner development and really how to grow a partnership over time. And so we'll take a look at one of our partners, that a local community college in San Antonio on our next slide. We started working with them in 2015. And so they agreed to host some of our summer interns. And then the following year, they increased the number to 20 summer interns. And then the following year, they agreed to open up their facility for us to host some of our larger events on their campus. Unfortunately, in 2020, the pandemic happened, and unfortunately, we had to drop down to 4 virtual interns. And so going to this year, 2021, I had to think, okay, how am I going to continue to grow this relationship? So thankfully, they again had 4 summer virtual interns for this year. And then they also were able to have their college students virtually mentor some of our host organization elementary students. And so you'll see in the span of 6 years, this is what our partnership looks like. And so just to get an idea of how you can maintain and grow your partnership over time as well. And so main takeaways on the next slide, just know that you need to start small and grow over time, not overnight. Be intentional with how you can both benefit from your partnership and your relationship with each other. And then also just remember that a partnership doesn't need to involve big money or large scale commitments, but rather baby step process. And on the next slide is our contact information. Feel free to join us in our breakup room. And then up next, we'll have Fatima to continue her presentation.
Thank you, and I apologize. I guess, this happens. So let me share my screen. So as I was saying, just really quickly, these are the 3 events that we had. It was this year we had the college week. This upcoming month we are having our career fair, and just we have been learning from each event and just kind of adding on. This career fair that we're having, we are like kind of listening in our past events and really seeing that we want it to be more student interactive. So we are making a lot of our events student led, and just really based on like student interest. And, I will go over in detail in our breakout room. So if you guys are interested in learning about our other events, please, just join the breakout room. If anything, you guys can email me as well. And thank you guys. I'm going to pass it to Cassandra.
Awesome. So let me share my screen here. All right. So I am Cassandra Rivera, AKA Basement Breakout. And I am the C2C Pathways Coordinator at the Detroit Hispanic Development Corporation in Detroit, Michigan. So today I'm here to talk a little bit about virtual engagement. So one fun fact from this year, I am doing 100% virtual programming with my youth. So that was a challenge that I had to overcome, and I had to use engagement to do it. Okay. So in addition to having 100% virtual programming this year, I was also brand new to the community that I was serving. So Southwest Detroit is a small community of Mexican and Latinx folks in the city. Let's see, let me check my notes. So actually prior to moving to Detroit, I spent the last 3 years in Lakewood, Colorado at Gold Crown running a C2C program in person. So moving to Detroit and having to do it virtually, there are a couple of challenges there. And so basically I had to figure out what I wanted to keep from doing in-person programming, what I wanted to modify for virtual, and what I needed to do entirely differently to better serve the needs of my current community. So now I'm just going to share 3 quick tips on virtual engagement. And so the first tip that I want to share with you guys is keep it interesting. So one way that you guys can keep virtual programming interesting is by inviting guest speakers. I like to tap into my personal and professional networks to do this because I know exactly what to expect in terms of the content and the delivery and how those share with our youth. It's a really great way to get different people involved and give some additional context to whatever you're trying to do with your kids. But I will caution you that you really don't want to overdo it. People can get burnt out on guest speakers. And so you want to make sure that whenever you invite a guest speaker, it's relevant to the topic that you're covering. I like to make sure that it fits a theme so that there's a lot of context going through that. My next tip is to know your audience. Communication matters, and so does the platforms that you use to talk with your youth. So I am a huge fan of Slack, but you guys can use whatever communication channels you like. I really like Slack because you can talk to everyone all at once and have one channel, or you can DM kids and have individual check-ins. I like to get kids involved during our Zoom meetings by having them use their phones to answer questions. And instead of typing out answers, they actually use emojis to answer questions. So that's a great way to have them do different things. Basically, the more that they use these communication strategies, the more comfortable they'll get, and you can use it later on in your program as well. And then the last tip I want to give you guys is make time to play. All right, so Among Us is a really huge thing with our young people. And so we made time during our program year to incorporate that. So I would nominate kids to basically lead us in a game of Among Us. They would come up with a room and they would share the code on Slack, and we would all kind of play games together. We did this a couple of times, once before the holidays, and we actually took group photos, which is why we're all wearing party hats in these pictures. And then we turned those party hats into a holiday card. So if you want to learn more about how retention has worked through virtual engagement, then please stop by my room and be my date.
Thanks, everyone. So those were 6, not 5, 6 ideas, strategies, best practices, things to think about that we think are relevant for everyone. So now we get to the part where you have to think what do I want to focus in and hear a little bit more about and talk through. So what I'm going to share is because you might be thinking, I remember, but who were they all? So here is a overview slide to remind you. We have group 1 with the team conference, group 2, integrated project, group 3, I'm calling everyone groups even if they're single people, data management, group 4, virtual events, group 5, networking and partner development, and group 6, virtual engagement. And we're going to have, I would say that we will have time for, I know this is going to sound funny, but we're going to do 12 minutes because we were doing well on time. So let's squeeze in a 12-minute breakout. I hope, Jake, that you heard that. And in a moment, Jake is going to give you all the option to join a group. If you have the new Zoom, it's going to pop up and say, choose a group, and you'll choose and you'll go to it. If you don't have the latest Zoom, then you will stay here and we will probably just have you take your mute off and tell Jake where you want to go. And you'll have another one. So think of your 2 that you want to do. And Jake, whenever you are ready, you can go ahead and kick that off.
Rooms are open.
Okay. I don't see anything on my screen.
People are joining.
Okay, good. Okay. All right, so for everyone who's left, well, let's get people in the right rooms first. So Jake, can you put Josh Stewart into the project, into the one that the group 2? And then I think we'll have to have, I'll wait till Josh goes. Okay, and so I think first everyone download the new Zoom later. I will say unmute yourself and just tell Jake which number group you'd like to be in.
Hi, Jake, this is Mai. Please put me in group 1.
Next.
Hi, Jake. This is Roxanne. Can I please be in group 3?
All right, next.
Hi, Jack. This is Sandra. Can I please be in group number 6?
Roxanne, did you get a little pop-up?
No, I didn't get one. I think so. My colleague is at another desk that has Roxanne signed into it. So
yeah. Did I move the wrong Roxanne?
Yes. All
right, we'll try again. What room?
Room 3, please.
You got it. Winner. All right. Who's next?
Hey, this is Al Majors. Can you put me in group 4?
You got it.
Miguel, group 6, please.
Miguel, the 6. This is great.
I just wanted to confirm group 4 is the virtual events, yes?
Correct.
Then could I get put in there, please?
You got it.
This is Jessica. Can I get in to the community connections, please?
Off you go.
Hi, Jake. Can I go to group 4, please?
Absolutely.
Okay. My name is Shua. Please, group 3.
Yes. All right.
Gloria and Emma, where would you like to go? Or maybe they're doing something else.
Well.
All right. Welcome back from your second learning date. Hope you had a fun time. I really appreciated you guys having the opportunity to choose 2 different topics. Luckily, I figured out that I can jump from group to group, so you might have seen my face pop in. I was just kind of wanted to be part of the conversations. So this is some time to debrief and ask any specific follow-ups that you want to do. So you can share out something that you learned right now, or you can ask a question that you didn't get to ask. And this is kind of our time to debrief. So it's going to be more interesting if more people talk. So I'm going to stop and open it up and say, please unmute yourself and share out a quick comment or a question that you would like to do.
I'll hop in. This is Ty from South LA Best Buy Teen Tech Center. I loved it. Both sessions were great with partnering and also the data tracking. You mentioned one tap. Can you put the what is the website? I want to find out more about it.
Sure, I'll pop that in the chat right now.
Thanks.
Something I can pop in with, because it was like a continuation of what we were talking about, is like engagement strategies in terms of like how you like the personality you bring on virtual. And one of the things I referenced knowing that I had to do virtual this year was YouTube influencers. It sounds funny, but it's totally true. So kids watch YouTube videos all the time. So go and watch a couple of the ones that they really like. How are those people presenting? How do they talk? What do they do? And mimic it. And it totally works. So one of the things I did, like I think I mentioned earlier about having youth drop emojis on Slack, you know, I'd ask a question, I repeat myself a couple of times just to make sure they're hearing me. And I'm like, don't forget to drop that emoji on Slack, right? Just like smash that like or subscribe button, right? Same thing. So if you use the same lingo that they're used to, if you kind of present yourself in a way that's similar to the influencers and stuff that they're watching on YouTube, that's a really great way to get engagement, because now they feel like they're part of an interactive like YouTube channel, as opposed to like, I'm in school just learning whatever. So that's just a little extra bonus tip that I have for you guys in terms of engaging your youth.
I was super impressed that there was a teen summit. That was the first session I went to, in not a teen summit, a teen conference. So I know we have teen summit. I know that's a separate thing and that will happen virtually, but it just like I was just like wowed. I know Sara was in that group too, but for Tamara and Hallelujah, who are 2 new C2C coordinators, to launch something like that, right off the back, I was like, all right, LA Tech Centers and Clubhouses, here we go. And then I looked at all their cities. I was like, they're not even in the same city. So then I was like, Aviva, a C2C teen conference, here we go. But I think I'm gonna just like, I get pumped over these conferences, and I had these like crazy ideas in my head. So I'll check in with Fatima and like the rest of the team to see like, is this doable? But I think Sara said something in a later session that she was in. I think Sara did 2 groups today, where she said like something about like starting small and not having to go big. And so I'm thinking now like, okay, start small, you know, it doesn't have to be all of C2C pathways, but it could be the LA group, or it could be like someone on the East Coast, just to make it kind of a cool thing. Kind of the same way that this group did. So I'm very pumped about what you guys did, and really am hoping that my team's on board with doing something similar this year.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, yeah, I know there's so many clubhouses in California, and it's so easy because y'all are in the same time zone. So yeah, go for it and just start small. We just did 3 and a few of our youth together. So I say go for it and let us know if you have any questions.
I was a little worried when I heard that we were the last hour of the whole conference, but I'm feeling a lot of still energy, which is great. Any other final comments or something that you want to bring back to your own clubhouse to try to implement, or a question you didn't get to ask?
I would say in my last session that Josh said he was building a
a Pac-Man machine style with multiple games, and the kids were making music for it. And I thought that was super cool, and it's definitely something I would want to implement here in Houston.
This is Manja. I joined my second group, the data management. I know we're still closed over here at Hennepin County Library in Minneapolis, Minnesota, but we're working on revamping our signing system and data management collection. So this is just more ideas for me to test out and research as we get all the information that we need to meet our needs.
I'm glad to hear you say that. When I suggested to Alexis that her big idea and strategy to share is how she manages data, I think she looked at me like I was a little crazy, and I said, no, I think it's actually really interesting and people will like it. Great.
Aviva, I unmuted. You gave a long list of things, but I actually was going to say something about something different if I could with our 30 seconds left, which is don't forget the project fair. This is the last breakout session of this kind, but there is a project fair still taking place today. I think it starts in 15 minutes. Just didn't want anyone to think this was literally the last part of the conference.
Thank you. Yeah, this is the last session, but I hope to see you all at the project fair. I'm really excited to see how it works virtually. And I want to say thank you to all of my amazing co-presenters. I did nothing. They did it all, as you can see. And I hope you had fun choosing some breakouts on your own. I thought that might be a little bit of a different feel. So thank you all so much for coming, and hope to see you at the project fair soon.
Thanks, Aviva.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Aviva.
Thank you.
Thank you all.